Welcome to Be Me with Shari Ware, the podcast where each day is a step towards a better you and where we focus on progress, not perfection. Join me as we embark on a journey of self-improvement and wellness, focusing on being just a little better than we were yesterday. Hello and welcome to episode 42 of the Be Me podcast. My name's Shari Ware, I'm your host, and in this episode we are talking about simple ways to refresh your space and energy for a new beginning, because who doesn't love a new beginning? When I was looking for a quote for this episode, I found one from Gretchen Rubin: outer order contributes to inner calm. And that definitely spoke to me. I know that I've actually got hoarders on both sides of my family, and I can see the tendency in myself. From time to time, I do get a little bit of clutter build up around me, and it really doesn't make me feel good. But the minute I clear the clutter away and tidy things up, I feel so much better. So that definitely resonated with me. And if you can see that tendency in yourself, then this episode is definitely for you. She's written some great books, and I'll make sure that I put the link in the show notes for you to check them out on Amazon. Now, before we get into how to actually create a more supportive space or better energy, I think it's really important to understand that this concept is something that has been around for centuries through many cultures around the world. One is that a lot of people throughout the centuries have honoured the energy of the new moon. The new moon basically is, they see it as a clean slate, a time to set intentions, a time to clear out old or stale energy, create space for growth. And if this is something that you haven't explored before and you would like to, you can do some really simple things. When there is a new moon, you could just light a candle and set an intention. Or you could perform a small symbolic ceremony or gesture, like writing down whatever you're ready to let go of and actually letting it go by either tearing it up, or if you're in a safe space, you could burn it. There's many other cultures around the world that have different traditions along these same lines. One is Diwali, which is a Hindu festival. It's the festival of lights, and it basically celebrates the triumph of light over darkness. And during this time, they clean their homes and they illuminate them to invite positivity and prosperity. Even in our Western world, many people maybe don't see it as a tradition, it's just something we do. But a lot of times when spring comes, what do? We spring clean. We have a big clean out. And it's another symbolic thing that it's a tradition. As winter ends, we do a deep clean, and it's clearing out the old to welcome in the new. And then last but not least, another example that I wanted to talk about is a Scottish tradition, first footing or Scottish Hogmanay. I'm sorry if you're Scottish and I pronounce that wrong. I apologise profusely. But basically, it's a belief that the first visitor to cross the threshold in the new year is thought to bring luck. So all of these traditions really do show that we as human beings have a belief or concepts or traditions around the importance of mindful beginnings and energy. And it's really clear that the way we prepare our spaces and our minds is important. So, how do you do that? Well, first of all, you want to start with your physical space, or most people start with their physical space. And it's really interesting to know that often the physical space is reflective of the mental state. So I know myself, if I have a lot of clutter around me, it can make me feel really overwhelmed, and cluttered spaces can lead to feelings of overwhelm. Whereas when I tidy it up and I put everything away, I feel calmer, I feel more focused, and that's generally what happens. it can also lead to more inspiration and creativity. It's important to know that good energy isn't just what you see, it's also what you feel. And it's it's a really great thing to think about incorporating all of the senses. So not just the visual, but the what you smell, lighting, and even things like fabrics and textiles. So making sure that if you decided that you wanted to bring in some scents, maybe some uplifting scents, that you're using natural essential oils rather than burning things that are full of chemicals. That's not going to be helpful for you. Same with candles. You want natural candles, not candles that have synthetic fragrances, because when you burn them, that's just toxic. So making sure that you're burning natural candles, natural essential oils, if you are wanting to bring in some nice scents into your space. If you have a dark space and you want to brighten it up, finding a way to bring in some natural sunlight, or some natural candles to help if you can't bring in the sunlight. And also making sure that the colours around you are the colours and the materials are things that you love. You don't want to have things in your space that you don't love. My daughter and I have this thing, SSJJ, Sparky Sparky Joy Joy, which came from Marie Kondo, who says, does something spark joy in your life? And if it doesn't, then get rid of it. So when I learned about that, of course, I have to make everything easier to remember. So I created SSJJ, Sparky Sparky Joy Joy, and that's what we always say whenever we're looking at something that's already in our home. Is it Sparky Sparky Joy Joy? If it's not, then it goes. And before we bring anything into our space, we ask the question, is it Sparky Sparky Joy Joy? And if it's not, then it doesn't come in. It's as simple as that. And it's not just mental clutter that we want to be clearing. We also want to clear mental clutter. Did I say that right? It's not just physical clutter that we want to be clearing. We also want to be clearing mental clutter. My brain is a little bit cluttered, clearly. So how can you do that? How can you clear mental clutter? So practicing journaling, mindfulness practices such as deep breathing, starting a gratitude list. All of these things will help to focus on positivity and abundance and make you feel good, and create a much better energy and space around yourself. And last but not least, some simple feng shui tips. Now, you may not know what feng shui is. You may not be into feng shui. Feng shui is the Chinese version of good energy. So it's all of the things that I've spoken about, all the different traditions. This is just another one of them. Something that I definitely believe in. I have a feng shui consultant that helps me every year with my home. When I got my van, she couldn't help me as much with the van, but I still did get her input on what I could do in the van. And I find that in the years since I have been actually intentionally practicing feng shui, it definitely has helped me. It makes me feel better. And all of these things are all about intentionally creating a supportive space and creating better energy. So you don't have to know a lot about feng shui. Some really simple tips. One would be to open your windows to let in fresh air, and that symbolises the arrival of new opportunities. You could add some red or gold into your decor, because those colours symbolise luck and prosperity, and who I mean, what can it hurt? Seriously, who doesn't want a bit more luck and prosperity? Even if you already have a lot of luck and prosperity in your life, we could all have more, couldn't we? And if nothing else, then if the one thing you do is this, I know my feng shui consultant is going to be loving me telling you this, is to make sure that your entryway is tidy and looks inviting, because your entryway to your home is seen as the gateway for energy entering your home. Also, living plants, not fake plants, living plants are a great addition, can really help with the air and the energy in your home. Just having living things around you is always great and will help with good energy flow. And good energy isn't just something that you feel, it's something that you can create. And hopefully I've helped you with some ways that you can actually create that. So, what intentional step will you take to welcome good energy into your life? All right, and as often there is, for this episode, there is a corresponding Be Me Bites edition, Be Me Bites 42. I finally caught up. Good energy, great year, easy ways to create a supportive space. Definitely would behoove you to go and check that one out. I actually released that edition just before Chinese New Year. And so there will definitely be some things in that edition that aren't in the podcast, because when I'm recording the podcast, I wanted to make it more for all throughout the year. So definitely go and check that out. There will be some resources in there, also extra resources in there that I don't put in the podcast. And if you subscribe to Be Me Bites, you get a free online copy of any one of my books of your choice. And when you subscribe, you get an email to tell you how to claim that. That's it for this episode. I hope you have fun decluttering and tidying up, bringing some wonderful things, new things into your space to create better energy. And until the next episode, keep taking one step at a time. See ya. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode. Remember to check out the show notes, and if you have any comments, feedback or suggestions, I'd love to hear them. If you've received value from this podcast, make sure to subscribe, and I'd love you to rate and review the show. Have a fabulous day.